Hey, it's Tori, and welcome back to my channel. Today we welcome Yasmine from Face Yourself to the channel. How are you doing today?
I'm good, thank you. What about you?
I'm doing really well. Thank you for taking the time out to chat with me and to come on the channel today. Of course, a huge congratulations for signing with Sumerian. What influenced the decision to go with Sumerian over? I'm sure you got plenty of offers from different record labels.
First of all, thank you for having me. And actually, we did talk to a few other labels, but it never like went to the point of like an offer or deal. Um, we kind of wanted to stay independent, um, but we were really surprised when Samarian contacted us. I believe it was Ash who contacted Eric. Um, and I don't know, it just seemed like a right fit. Uh, they really understood who we are and where we wanted to go. I think they understand what we're trying to do, and it's really good to work with people who just understand your artistry and know your goals and are willing to help you. So I think it was just a good match.
Yeah, I think when I heard that you guys had signed with them, I was like, yeah, that just it works, it fits, and it's a really wonderful thing for you guys moving forward as well. Of course, you're here to chat about your brand new EP, Martyr, which is out on 18th of April, of course, by Sumerian Records. You've already had a couple of singles out so far from this EP. How have you found the response from your fan base, but also from people like myself who are new fans of you guys?
Well, we haven't released music in like a year before we released Consideration. So we were a bit nervous that being away for so long, people would a bit forget about us, which, can happen.
Hmm.
But we were actually really surprised with the response from Consideration. Um, we also got some new people who saw our music. So I think Sumerian really helped with that because they know how to target their audience and everything. Um, but yeah, we're really happy with the response. We just didn't expect to like have all the things we have now to be able to make the music and the music videos. Um, I would say this being a different experience with a producer really helped us get to the next level. And no matter where it would go, like even with the response we had, but if we didn't have this response, we would still be satisfied. We actually discussed about that a lot and just getting the opportunities that we've never like dreamed of. It's already uh, a lot, and we're already so happy with that.
Yeah, you mentioned the producer, Joey Sturgis. With this EP, did anything like change with how you approached the writing and recording process of this album? Well, EP.
Oh yeah, yeah, a little bit. In a way that we've always worked really in-house, so just all of us, and we used to record everything in Eric's basement. So getting to work in a real studio is definitely a huge change for us. And also having someone like Joey who has an outside perspective on our work really helped us to just, I think, do better music in general because obviously when you do anything artistic, uh, you are emotionally attached to it, and sometimes you can be a little bit stubborn.
Hmm.
And having someone whose job is just to help you do better definitely helps in that sense. And besides that, uh, we kind of worked the same way in a way that we are six members, and everyone writes in the band, so everyone like writes songs. And then we just put them all in a folder, and another member is going to pick on someone else's song and add something to it to just have more different influences in it just because we're all so different. We all have
Hmm.
very different tastes. But also for the lyrics for me was very different because usually I like writing in a storytelling point of view. And this time I really did something more personal. It's very focused on mental health. It's
Mhm.
very dark lyrics, and I usually don't really put myself in the songs. I like the music to be just a sort of escape for me. But this time it just felt like a healing point for me to just like put this pain out there so I don't have to keep it and it's not mine to carry anymore. I don't know if that makes sense, but in my
It
head it
does.
does.
It does. It does. With talking to quite a few musicians with having my series here, and I think that's become quite a big talking point is that catharticism that you as artists get while writing and putting your own personal experiences, whether that's something that's super dark with depression, addiction, whatever, into your art and then feeding that to your audience. And then your audience takes that in and it makes your audience feel less alone in that sense as well.
Yeah, that does make sense in a way because that's how I feel about the music I listen to. Like obviously since I was like 10, I've been a huge Lady Gaga fan
Hmm.
and like he's always been very open about mental health and supporting the LGBT community and marginalized people. So during tough times when I was younger, like listening to her music really helped me. And I don't know, I just really like usually listening to music that has not necessarily has meaning, but makes me feel something.
Yeah.
And I want to try this for once just because obviously like things are getting better in music in general. I would say there's more and more um, women in metal, um, but I don't know how to explain that. But when I joined Face Yourself, I really wanted to like respect the codes of deathcore
Hmm.
and just blend to kind of be legit. So I would always try to like even in the music videos we would like dress in a specific way just to respect those codes and the music is like very tough guy music, very tough guy lyrics, but this time I wanted to be like when you start being a little more confident in your art you can just be yourself a little more, and I think all of us in the band, we arrived to a point where we're comfortable with each other. We know each other now. We have strong friendships. And it helps you being able to just be vulnerable around your bandmates and being able to express your emotions more and just be yourself more. And I feel like that's the biggest change in this record is just it's way more authentic because we try to make music before to put ourselves out there and see if it could work for us.
Hmm.
With, obviously, we're still very proud of everything we've done and we still love all of our songs. But I think it was a moment for us to find our identity after like trying a few things, and I think we're getting there.
Yeah, no, I definitely feel that personal touch, especially from you yourself, because I did go and look at your personal YouTube channel and notice that you're very much into makeup, into all of that sort of special effects kind of makeup as well. And then going back and watching the two music videos that you have brought out with Sumerian, I feel that influence. Do you feel like having that sort of background in that art form helps you then be creative in this art form?
Absolutely. It's actually a sort of pairing between Eric and I, because Eric and I both come from the film industry.
Oh,
He used
okay.
to be an actor, and I used to be a special effect makeup artist. I worked in a special effects studio for almost 3 years, and I worked on set, and I worked with Netflix and Amazon Prime. So I have a big background in this, and we have wanted for a while to put those influences in our music videos, but we just never had like being an independent band. It's not easy to
Right.
do everything yourself and to have like just the resources to do it. And having Sumerian to like back us in that really helped. And just being more confident in our work. And I think when you have a precise idea of what you want to speak about through your songs. Uh, you want to put this in the visuals just because Eric and I like to write songs with an image at first. He thinks a lot when he writes things about music video ideas. It often comes with a music video idea before we even like start writing music, and from a concept, we can build songs from that. And I'm also very visual in artistic forms, so I also think like that a lot.
Yeah. Well, that definitely comes across, I think, in your music videos, but not only in your music videos, but just how you present as a human being on like social media and things like that. Like I feel that creativity just like radiating off of you, and that's, it's such an awesome thing to see, and to see you becoming more comfortable with that aspect of yourself. So how did you go from doing special effects makeup to then learning how to do these incredible vocals that you do?
That's actually, it's funny because it's kind of the opposite. I did music first.
Okay.
Uh, my dad put me in the classical music conservatory when I was a kid, so I started learning classical music at 6,
Mm-hmm.
and I was in a choir. I learned music theory, and I used to play the flute as well. And I did that until I was like 12. But the conservatory is like very, very strict. It's like many, many hours, uh, because they just want people who get out of the school to be like professional musicians.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just a kid, so I didn't know what I wanted to do. But
Right.
that was when I entered middle school, and I just realized I can't be like, I've always been like good at school. I've always been very serious and had good grades, but I felt like I couldn't manage like the classical music studies and normal school. So I stopped going. And shortly after, I think I was like 13 or 14, uh, I started like hanging with people who were really into like Nirvana, grunge music, things like that. And so I joined a few like bands at school who were doing like covers. And I found out about metal a little later, but at the same time, that was the whole period when I was listening to Lady Gaga, and I've always like painted, but I was not like great painter.
Mm-hmm.
I was okay, but I was not like, oh, this girl is gonna do great things. But because of Lady Gaga, I really liked how she worked on her like makeup, and I've tried to like replicate the painting I did on my own face, and that's where I felt like that could be something I could do. So I continued music as a hobby, and at the same time I continued makeup, and I ended up studying makeup to become a professional makeup artist. And that was my whole life. I really wanted to work in this industry, and I've done it for a few years, but the film industry is really, really tough. Um, it's I don't know how to explain that, but I'm sure you've heard of stories like this. It's like very it can be really toxic. There's like this whole idea of you have to suffer to
Mm-hmm.
be legit, and you have to be treated badly because that's how it is. And you hear those people who are like, oh, I've worked like a whole week with like 3 hours of sleep and I was paid only $200. That was so cool. Look at the movie. I'm like, that's things I've been through. And I think this is not normal.
Mm-mm.
People shouldn't be treated like that just to have a job. And I just needed to like take a distance from it. And while I was doing this professionally, I joined Face Yourself completely out of nowhere. It was like I really didn't expect things to go like that. I was just like, I'm young. That could be fun to have a project like this and to better my English by joining a band, a foreigner band. Um, and it just happened like that. And thankfully, when I joined Face Yourself, I really learned what is um, a healthy working environment. And that's when I realized that even though makeup was everything for me, but I just couldn't continue. accepting to go through so much stress in my life, and I just needed something that would be better for me and for my health. And being in Face Yourself is incredible, honestly. Those people, all of us, the band, it's just such a good working environment. It's just so easy to communicate. And we've had to learn, obviously, because most of us didn't know each other when we created the band, but it's just incredible to like not have stress directly related to the band, or if there's stress because we have to finish music because of deadlines or anything. It's so easy to communicate and be like, hey, I'm overwhelmed, can someone help me? And they're like, yeah,
Right.
I'll make a plan and help each other. So that's just such a relief.
Yeah, there's only so much toxicity in a toxic environment somebody can take, even if it's your passion in life where you're just like, I need to draw a line and I need to try something else. But now, hopefully, now, I mean, you've already proved that you're doing it, but you can marry the two together and have your music and your makeup skills all put into one creative bubble, if you will, and have that interjected into this new career that you're moving forward with.
Yeah, absolutely. That's how I've been feeling, and that's a conversation I've had with my husband and my parents. I still want to create uh, through makeup, but I want to put this in the use of the band. And maybe I'll work again with like doing makeup for other bands. It's just, I feel like the music industry, it also has its issues, but it's so much easier to, I don't know if it's just because it's a younger industry and like more deathcore or something, but I just feel like mental health is way much more taken seriously.
Yeah.
And I mean, everyone goes through tough things with work, and toxic environment is not like related to just one kind of jobs, obviously. But I don't know, I just feel more at peace, and I don't have like those panic attacks and stuff like that anymore since I've been in Face Yourself. So I'm like, it's just it's just a relief for me. I can't explain.
Yeah, no, I totally get it. And even within the music itself, I can just feel like that's your piece and that's where you feel at home and that's where you're happiest at. And going back to the EP, what inspired the title of the album, but also that artwork that you have? With like the pulling of the hands on their faces, on the face.
Actually, it is inspired from a makeup that I did.
Mm-hmm.
So it's on my other Instagram account. I think it's in the first pictures. When I was in makeup school, um, we had, I don't remember what the theme was, but we had like a once a month a makeup exam, and we had to create a concept, and it was always photographed. And I had my friend Florian, who is a dancer and a drag queen. So I wanted to have a model that would know how to express emotions through the body. And obviously,
Mm-hmm.
someone who's dancing knows how to do that. And someone who would not be afraid of like defying gender norms as well. And so I created this makeup that has like slime on the head, and it like drips down. And the idea was like the way mental health like starts from here, and then it erodes and it will impact your whole body basically. And so the piece was called Martyr. And so I just drew inspiration from this artwork that I've done like years ago. And I've talked about this with the band when writing the lyrics, and when the question of the artwork came, I kind of had an idea, and I just remembered this makeup that I did. And so I just put it in the chat, and I was like, this could be cool to not necessarily have a replica of it, but something that evokes that
Mm-hmm.
idea. And it spoke to everyone. So again, like combining those art forms.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. And you also use that in Sadoration as well, didn't you, with the black slime and just connecting those two. It's really interesting to hear you discuss it that way, and it makes a lot of sense with how just everything it starts here in your brain and it just sinks down to your rest of your body and into your heart, and it's hard to get yourself out of that, especially with it being compared to slime and how sticky and gross and nasty that stuff can be.
Yeah, that was absolutely the idea behind it, and like the way Florian is posing on the pictures, he uses his hands, and that's where the idea of the artwork came from as well. And the slime was like a dark purple, and we've never really worked with like purple colors, so we thought it could be a cool idea, and everyone in the band liked purple, so it
Mm-hmm.
just worked. And we've talked to a few artists, and we had one for the Sideration cover art that looks very similar to the original makeup, but with greens in the back. And then we had this one for the EP artwork.
Yeah. I think purple works really well with it. I feel like, I mean, purple's personally my favorite color, but I also feel like it's a good color for for being more into that darker side of things as well. Could you
Yeah,
tell
I like.
us? Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, I just like the idea of the purple was also like a color theory idea. It was the idea of like mixing two emotions, and so having like the red and blue mixed,
Right.
and to show that nothing is like linear, or nothing has to like remain one line. So the mix of two colors being then this color is just, I feel like it reflects mental health a lot as well.
Yeah. I like that. I like because life isn't linear. It's always ups and downs, and it's a roller coaster of emotion. And everybody, it doesn't matter who you are, everybody goes through something at some point within their life. So, could you tell us in your own words what the EP is about and what it represents for you personally?
Sure. So the songs are different, and some of them are more about standing up for yourself when you feel there's a shift in you, and you realize that you've been wronged, and you want to stand up for yourself and fight. And some other songs are more like more how do you say that in English? So, sorry, sometimes I have to think of words to translate from French to English, but more like a hopelessness.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really in between those. And actually, like predatory and consideration are concepts that go together. So predatory is like part one of consideration, and consideration is like the shocking part after the attack, because a lot of people like saw the visuals with the shark, but it's like a whole metaphor.
Mm-hmm.
When I write lyrics, I don't necessarily like to write things about things that are super obvious.
Mm-hmm.
I like to write metaphors because there are different ways to express things, but also we all experience different things that can be very violent and very difficult. Uh, but to just make it more relatable, I wanted things to still be vague. But Predatory is like a modern story. It's about going to a dance with someone, and you go back home with this person, and you just find yourself in a very violent situation. So
Mm-hmm.
it's really inspired by like serial killers, those kind of violence. And Consideration is like the following part where you're experiencing the violence, and to protect yourself, you dream, and it takes you to someplace else just to
Yeah, you
uh
disassociate from it.
yeah.
Yeah.
And Consideration is a bit like this dream, but you're half awake, and that's why it starts with trying to catch the light, and the song ends on I now see the light, because the person wakes up at the end and is ready to confront their demons. And so the all those songs are linked in a way. Primal is the first song that opens the EP, and it's funny because it's actually the first song that we wrote for this EP like a year ago. And it came from an idea of Dave. Basically, the idea he had is um, writing about some time that as a band we experienced something not really nice, and he put those emotions into the lyrics. And so I tried to um, through his instrumental, I tried to translate it through lyrics. And the way I did that is I shared the emotion, but I made it a bit more specific. And Primal is really about the shift that happens in someone when they just realize that they're in a situation that is not okay and they decide no more. But
Mm-hmm.
obviously it's metal, so it goes very far, it's very extreme, it's violent, but it's really like it's a it's like a female rage anthem, kind
Mm-hmm.
of. And Saboteur is a song about your inner saboteur, because sometimes you have to sit with yourself and your own thoughts to just like be able to be at peace with yourself. You have to just go through um, your own person and just learn to confront some wounds. And The Poet is way much more personal. It's actually a song that I wrote in French because at first it was not a song, it was just a text that I wrote. And I knew that at some point I wanted to put it um, on a song, but I wanted to keep it in French because it's actually a song about um, a very, very modern theme as well. It's about cyberbullying.
Mm-hmm.
And I just feel like we live in a society where we encourage people to be violently cowards because it's so easy to say horrible stuff to people online.
Mm-hmm.
And the way I wrote it is like a poet who um, basically when they write things that they write poems on the wall of shame. It's like, the social media wall, and the way the writings stay, uh, it's like it destroys someone's memory because the writings never go away.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a way to show that words can be weapons. And I just find it incredibly like horrible how, with like TikTok and everything, there's like kids posting just doing kids stuff, they're like dancing to a song and everyone is like, oh, it's so cringe,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
like stuff like that. And I'm like, those are just kids doing cringe stuff, but that's normal. When we
Right.
were kids, we did cringe stuff too. We were just not recording it.
Mm-hmm.
And I just found it like incredibly disgusting how we just we just act like it's totally okay to say stuff like that to kids. And as someone who's experienced that myself, uh, I feel like this is the most personal song for me. And I think, I don't know, it's just something that really, really bothers me in this world is like how everyone calls everything cringe and just insult, like just little kids doing kid stuff on the internet. Like, I don't know, it just bothers me a lot.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure even yourself as a woman in the metal industry now, there's been comments that you've gotten. I'm sure if as I've got them on my channel, and it's like, what makes somebody sit there and think they see what a 3 4 minute song or 6 minute song, however long, and they see like a 10 minute video from me that they know who you are and they get the right to comment on something that makes no sense. Like I was told I was reacting to a band and they were pretty heavy, and because I don't necessarily dress metal or whatever, they were like, "You're not worthy enough to react to this band." I was like, "What? That doesn't even make sense." So I totally understand where you're coming from with that and the cyberbullying, because we are so connected now. And when I was growing up, the internet was just starting out, and we did film ourselves doing cringe stuff, and it's still there, but it wasn't as bad as it is today, where every teen now has a smartphone and they can access the internet. And I would not want to be a teen in today's society.
Yeah, I agree. It's like really, really bad. And I mean, it's normal to have like a feeling about something, to dislike something. It's totally normal. Like even there's like art that I'm not like sensitive to, and it's totally, totally fine. But like if you just dislike somebody or something, instead of spending your time hating on them, spend your time on something that matters to you, or give this energy to someone you think deserves it. But
Mm-hmm.
like this is really not about like hate comments like towards me or my music, because personally I don't really care what people think. I think they're totally allowed to think whatever they want. And of course, I see sometimes like comments are very mean, but it doesn't like hurt me or anything. But I'm an adult.
Mm-hmm.
But when you like reach to kids or you
Yeah.
tell people that they don't deserve to live just because they did like one stupid video dancing or something, like us when we do music as adults, when you put yourself out there, you know that you have to expect those things, which you should not. But still, we know that it's
Yeah.
something that can.
Yeah.
I mean, you think about all those kids, and I'm not saying it's fair or it's okay. It's
No,
like obviously there's a lot of injustice, like you said right before about us like being women. There's things that are more specific to our gender, which is absolutely not okay. It's like discrimination, and in my country
mm-hmm.
it's illegal.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I just think in general it's something that people should just learn to keep their hands away from their keyboard sometimes, or just
Yeah.
think a little bit before they put something out.
Or just like you say, go and find something that they enjoy and put that effort and whatever you want to call it into that, instead of sitting behind and calling a child or a teen cringe or that they should go and themselves. I've never
Yeah.
understood that myself, so I'm glad you've addressed that within a song, and I'm also glad that you've kept it in your own native language, being French. I feel like it's probably more impactful for you to perform it that way as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I wanted to, I don't know if it's because of that, but I moved to America like almost a year ago now, and I feel like keeping it in French, it's like it stays back there
Mm-hmm.
and it doesn't follow me here. But I'm sure I'm sure a lot of people can relate to that, and it's really sad that so many people can relate to that. But I've seen that happen to other people. Um, when I was at school, it was like a big thing. So I hope people learn from it and learn to just like educate their kids about this subject, because obviously it's more difficult with our parents who didn't necessarily grew up with that, so they might
Mm-hmm.
not understand. It doesn't always come from a place of like doing things badly, or it's just sometimes people just generally don't understand because they didn't grow up with that. So sometimes it can be more difficult for um, parents or adults to understand how serious this can be.
Yeah. You said you moved to the US about a year ago. How are you liking it?
I really like Colorado. It's really nice, but the weather is really dry. But, but it's really nice. I like it here.
Yeah, I moved here to the States. It'll be my 13th year this year. And I'm
Oh,
from
wow.
England originally, and then I was still living in England, and I met my husband online. He's American. And so I moved over here, and I'm in North Carolina now, and it's really humid down here. But I visited Colorado in October last year for the first time, and I really liked it too. It was a really nice place.
Yeah, it is really nice here, but it's funny because I moved for the same reason, because of my husband as well.
Yeah, yeah. Well, with things we do for love, eh?
Yeah, but it's worth
It
it.
is. I agree. It is completely worth it. Do I miss home? Of course I do. I'm always gonna miss it. It's a huge part of who I am. But also, did I ever think I would leave England? No, and yet here we both are, living in a completely different place. And that in itself takes bravery and a lot of guts to do it too.
Yeah, it is definitely a difficult process to just adapt to a different culture, different social norms,
Mm-hmm.
different food, different
Mm-hmm.
access to everything. It takes a little while, but once you're adjusted, I feel like things have been okay lately.
Good. Well, the thing that got me the most was just needing a vehicle, a car to just get
Yeah.
anywhere. Like, because that's one thing I do miss is just being able to walk to the local shop and to get little bits and pieces. And now I can't do that.
Yeah, I feel that because I also don't have a car. I don't have my license yet. I have to.
Yeah.
here. But thankfully, I don't live very far from like stores and everything, so I can do my groceries on a walk. It's a little long walk, don't gonna lie, but you get your steps in.
Yeah. Yeah. What did the creative process look like when it came to composing and writing the lyrics for this EP?
The way it was done this time is I started writing the lyrics, I think, in January of last year, and that was when Primal uh was almost finished instrumentally. And like I said, I just like drew inspiration from Dave's anger in the instrumental. And for the rest, like some lyrics I wrote before I even had an instrumental. So like Consideration, I already had a lot of the lyrics before the instrumental even existed. We actually wrote way much more songs than what we released. So there are more songs that we're still gonna release at some point. We're actually meeting in the studio in 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
So some other songs, um, I think of one of them, but I don't know if I'm allowed to say anything about it. But one of them I really wrote as the instrumental was done, but the poet, as I said, that was already written as well. But yeah, some of those songs I had to just draw inspiration from the instrumentals, but I knew I wanted to do something like a concept for it. Like the general idea was actually to do like a two-part EP with like two concepts that are different but linked together.
Mm-hmm.
So it could be like a full bundle. I don't know if we're still doing that, but I kept the general concept for Martyr. And some of those songs that didn't make the cut are gonna be on whatever the rest is gonna look like. We do that a lot actually. We have so many demos, like probably like 20 or something. So we could probably still write even like a full length.
Mm-hmm.
But it really depends because on the first few EPs, it was very, I feel like we've experienced different songwriting techniques for everything. Like the first EP was really like visual oriented in a way that Eric had the music video ideas, and sometimes he had like some concepts, like, can you write a song about that or that? And then I start writing lyrics from this. So that was how we did the first one. The second one was when I had my contract with Netflix, so I was like not available at all. So the band wrote almost everything without me. And the third EP was a concept EP as well, Tales of Death, because Halloween was approaching and I wanted to write something a bit spooky with like myth and legends and
Mm-hmm.
stuff like that. But this one, I really wanted me to write like everything and come up with my own ideas. I think at first I was like very happy with taking directions and having any advice from the rest of the band because a lot of the band have done music like before more professionally. Like Tom was in a touring band. Eric has worked with bands for years as a music video director. Dave is a producer. So a lot of us just have like different kinds of experience in music. And me, when I joined Face Yourself, I've only been like local bands. I've never
Mm-hmm.
like recorded music or wrote like a full album or anything. So I really wanted to listen to what people who knew more than me could teach me. And I think I just arrived at a place of comfort where I feel like I can be way more independent. Even though when I say independent, it doesn't mean that I don't share and I only write on my side of the room. I obviously share all the progress every time I have some lyrics. I send them in the chat. And I even ask the band if I did any like um mistake because obviously like I can speak English, but sometimes I can make a little
Mm-hmm.
spelling mistake or maybe something that I said is not translated the
Mm-hmm.
the right way. So I always ask for like a little double check on my lyrics. But I felt like I arrived to a place that I trust myself enough to be independent on that. And for the band, it's the same thing. Like we all feel like we can relate to each other and trust each other on this songwriting process.
Yeah. I also feel like it's not also just only about trust. It's probably also the fact that you're on EP4 now and your confidence within yourself has probably grown as a lyricist, and you've had that chance to work through some of the things you might have been anxious about. And you were speaking about English and translating it from French, and I'm a native English speaker and English is hard.
It's, I would say it's still easier than French in a way because even French people make
Yeah.
spelling mistakes in French. But I would just say, like, sometimes my vocabulary can be a little bit limited. Like, obviously, I can have a conversation totally fine,
Hmm.
but sometimes I will start writing in French because I have a specific idea of or wording that I want to use. And if I translate it directly to English, it might come with like words that are way more simple
Yeah.
because I don't really have like a very sophisticated vocabulary. So sometimes I'm just gonna ask the band like, I wrote that in English and I want to elevate the like the vocabulary. Like, does
Hmm.
anyone have like a synonym for this word? Or sometimes I even use like translating apps, or
Hmm.
I just search for synonyms on like Google and stuff.
Hmm.
Just it's just for me because I have to write in English because we're an American band. The songwriting process for me will always be a little longer because I have to make this translation. So that's why we've had a few tries with the band with like uh time wise how we can organize like finishing an instrumental so then I can have enough time to write my lyrics and to be confident in being able to fail and be like, oh, this whole paragraph in French it works, but in English it doesn't work. I have to
Right.
rewrite or even ask anyone else. Like last week, Dave was here and I already had like a full text of lyrics with like the whole meaning. I explained to him everything on why I wrote it like that and what was the whole idea of the song. And he had some ideas on how to switch some words or just like make it more poetic, use
Hmm.
some more elaborated vocabulary. And sometimes I do that with Dave or Corey. We will just sit with the lyrics I wrote and like go through them and try to elevate them a little bit.
Yeah, I think Tatiana from Ginger, I think she writes in Ukrainian first and then translates it this, the same way as you guys do with French to English. And um, sometimes there aren't direct translations from French to English, so I understand pulling in somebody who is a native English speaker to help. And it's good that you've also got that trust built within the band and the members themselves to ask for that help, because that sometimes your brain's like, should I be asking this? I should be capable enough to do this myself, but I need help. And our brains are our worst enemies sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I feel that sometimes it's also like when you write something, as I said earlier, like with your emotions, you're attached to it and you're
Yeah.
not necessarily open to like having someone like just modify it or go through it. But I don't have that issue at all. So thankfully, I will just tell the guys like this sentence I don't want to move at all, but
Hmm.
everything around here can change. Or I will write a whole thing and I'm like, this is the idea. Just keep the idea, but you can move one paragraph here, or you can switch the chorus to this other paragraph instead. That's totally fine. But I just need like I need help on how to restructure things a little more so it sounds a little more like someone who is fluent wrote it.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's understandable. And it's nice that you're able to do that. And because they are, like you said, this EP is more about mental health and your own vulnerable personal experiences. And then being able to hand that off to another band member and have that trust in them to help you translate it and it come across better. It's got to be a nice feeling.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think it's just easy when you have people who get what you're trying to do and with who you can communicate super easily. It's really everything is like having good communication with your team.
Yeah. What do you feel like is the overall emotional message that you guys wanted to deliver across to your listeners with this EP?
I don't know if it necessarily has to be a message or a statement. It's more like to have something that is just relatable to
Mm-hmm.
anyone. Obviously, metal is violent music, and it's a way to just like take out all those negative emotions. And we're entertainers, so we're just here to, entertain people, give them like a little moment to just think about something else when you go to a show. And the idea for this was more so me, I could just like let go of all of those feelings, but at the same time write something that I hope some people can relate to it. Not everybody will relate to it, obviously, and that's totally fine. But no matter what the emotion, I just wanted to write something that is emotional. Just like when I listened to uh, Black Tongue, their last album, Nadir, is like so. I remember the first time I listened to it, I didn't even read the lyrics, but I just listened to the whole album, and it took me somewhere in a way that I could feel through the instrumental how melancholic and sad it was. And I just was in all my feels listening to this. And that's a feeling I like when I listen to music in general. So I think we wanted to do something like that, that through the impacts, through the vocals, um, it would make you feel something, no matter what it is, but just like take you to some place else just for the moment of the record. That's something that I personally really like as someone who listens to music. Like my favorite band is Karakengren. They're a band from Holland,
Mm-hmm.
and they're like a black metal band. And the way they write music, it's all like it's based on horror stories, and their whole albums, all of their albums have a concept. And listening to it, you have to listen to the whole record because
Mm-hmm.
it's really like if you listen to a movie. And I really liked that it was a whole experience, and I wanted us to try to do this because we all agreed that our first EP was more of a demo than an
Mm-hmm.
EP itself, just to try something out. The second EP was also a bit like that, and I think when we did Tales of Death, that's when we started to like understand, like more like we wanted to do something that has a bit more coherence after just like experiencing new ways of working. But I like I really like concept albums in general, and I just wanted to do something like that. And I think we all agreed because that's something we talked about with Joey when we wrote those instrumental. We actually wrote like so much music, and we sent all of it to Joey, and he's the one who selected the songs.
Mm-hmm.
We also wanted him to be able to work on songs that he would enjoy working on.
Right.
And he just felt like this combination of those five songs worked well together. It was like a similar vibe to it,
Mm-hmm.
a
Mm-hmm.
similar identity. And I think he really helped with that just by having, like, as I said before, like an outside eye, outside perspective of someone who, without a judgment at heart, but more like this together makes sense.
Yeah.
And I think that's exactly what we needed, honestly, because that's something we wanted to do, is something that just blends more together. Uh, we don't want the songs to be skips, but obviously we
Right.
just wanted like to just have a story or just have a similar style, because obviously with six members who all of us different to completely different music, we needed at some point to like, we're gonna settle for one sound on this and not have
Yeah.
like a new metal song, a hardcore song, a sad song, and it doesn't make any sense. Which is still fun, but we wanted to have something that just matched together.
Yeah. No, I definitely feel that with the two that you have released so far, they flow really well together. And like you said, just having Joey's input from the outside and not being a band member, it helps that he can give the band constructive criticism, and it's not taken in a way that's negative. It's something to help the band and to help you guys move forward and put together like this cohesive story, because I too love concept albums and albums that need to be listened to from beginning to end to pick up on the whole thing, because I need that emotion. And I always say when I react to something, it's one thing to be able to pick up an instrument and play it, it's another thing for then to make that instrument a part of who you are, and have your soul poured into the instrument. And I feel like you and the rest of the band do that extremely well.
Thank you. I hope so. We're still learning. Actually,
Mm-hmm.
today is our 2-year band anniversary. So we're still like exploring a lot, I think, and
Yeah.
we're still learning a lot. But I think we're starting to get there. We're not there yet, but we're getting there.
Well, I don't think any band really truly gets there. I think it's more like as you mature and as you grow, of course, your music is going to mature and grow with you, hopefully. And you hear that with bands that have been around for quite some time. Also, happy band anniversary too.
Thank you. I actually don't know if the band noticed yet because I told them 2 days ago, like, this is gonna be our birthday soon, but I have to tell them later that when we're together in like 2 weeks, we need
Mm-hmm.
to do a little celebration.
Yeah, celebrate. It's worth the celebration. Do you guys have any rest of your plans that you can talk about?
So we have things coming. I can't say much for now. I don't know if I'm authorized to say anything, but people have been asking for tours.
Mm-hmm.
I can tell that tours are coming. I can't say any details yet, but yes, it's coming. Sadly, the first tour that we did, I couldn't be a part of it because of all the visa
Mm-hmm.
things.
Mm-hmm.
Well, this time we worked it out finally. So this is going to happen. I can say when, with who, where, but it's coming for sure. And we're just really excited to release this new EP. And we're already writing new music and we're getting in the studio in like 2 weeks. So if people weren't satisfied with an EP, know that there is more coming sooner than you think.
Well, do you have any last words for people watching this interview, just of thanks or anything like that?
Oh yeah, absolutely. For us, it's just so incredible to be where we're at with just like being a band of 2-year old. It's an incredible privilege, and obviously we wouldn't be doing it without anyone who has been supporting us, buying our merch, going to the shows, sharing our music, reactors as well. So thank you to you as well, because that's the way we basically started, was thanks to Orion
Orion.
Reacts.
Mm-hmm.
We never forget. Obviously, like all those things that we're doing now is just thanks to the support we get, and it's just a privilege to be doing what we're doing right now, because it takes so much work to have the opportunity of working with a label, having tour offers, being able to work with a producer. And some bands have been doing this for years, so we're very aware of the luck and the privilege, and that wouldn't be possible without people who support us. So thank you to anyone who has been behind us this whole time, because this is a dream come true. I never thought I would be like moving to America
Mm-hmm.
and like starting a life here, and that's all thanks to the people who just take some of the time of their day to just give us a chance.
Well, thank you so much, Yasmin, for being here and for chatting with me today. Guys, I will leave all of Face Yourselves information and links down below in the description, along with that pre-order link for Martyr. Please go ahead and pre-order it if you haven't already. Again, Yasmin, it's been absolutely wonderful chatting with you today.
Thank you so much for having me again. I think you're like my first English interview of this cycle, so I'm super excited. Thank you so much for inviting me and giving me a platform for the band.
Of course, you're probably your vocals just blew me away the first time I listened to Saturation. I was like, who is this badass woman, you know?
Thank you so much.
Well, bye, guys.
Bye, thank you.
Don't forget to like and subscribe to become a Taurian. Speaking of becoming a Taurian, all of my social media links and my Discord link are down below in the description. We'd absolutely love to have you come hang out in the Discord community, and I will see you guys in the next video. Rock on.